Hello everyone, I'm Sesha Mani. I'm a Principal Group Product Manager in the SharePoint and OneDrive product team at Microsoft.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sean Imam. I'm a principal program manager in Microsoft 365 Enterprise Cloud Engineering team, leading the expansion of data centers into new markets. With that, today we want to cover four topics. One is a brief overview of our data center global infrastructure, look at our local data center presence into these markets, and what is our current and future footprint. Talk about our M365 data residency commitment, and end it with our multi-geo capabilities that Sesha will be talking to. As Microsoft, we are investing significantly in building a global hyperscale enterprise-grade infrastructure, investing in over 160 plus data centers on 8 sites, hosting millions of servers worldwide. And these data centers are connected by over 130,000 miles of subsea terrestrial and metro optical fiber, assuring the best experience for our customers. Furthermore, from a compliance perspective, we ensure that every one of these data centers meets the industry standards around compliance, including standards such as GDPR and EU Model Clause. We operate these data centers and the services in it with no standing access to customer data, and run a transparent operation where if there are any kind of incidents in these DCs or the services, we notify the admin and the tenant within the service health dashboard that is part of the admin experience of what those incidents are. And we commit to 99.9% financially backed uptime from a reliability and uptime of these services. From a security perspective, we've designed these data centers from a physical, logical, and data layer to be secure, and we invest over $1 billion in security and R&D, and more than 3,500 cybersecurity experts evaluating and monitoring these services. So as a customer, you should feel great about our cloud and investment and our continued investments in our cloud infrastructure. One other thing that I'm really excited about is our commitment around being carbon negative by 2030. And by 2050, Microsoft will remove from the environment all the carbon the company has emitted since it was founded in 1975, and that's inclusive of our data center operations. So that's a huge investment the company is putting in, and that's something I'm very excited. Now let's take a look at what we're doing in our local data centers with our local presence. So on top of the global infrastructure that I just described, we are deploying local data centers in specific markets to meet our customer demand around data residency. These local data centers are connected to the same global cloud, and customers have similar feature parity in M365 as they have in our regional service, with the benefit of customer data stored in country as we have defined it in our Microsoft Online Services terms. And in the later slides, I'll be more specific about what data sets I'm talking about. These data centers also meet the same security and compliance commitments that I'll make sure that I explained as our rest of our global cloud, assuring that your data is secure and meets the specific industry standards that Microsoft is investing in. With that, let's take a look at our current data center footprint and what are the new countries that we're investing in. In this slide, you can see that Microsoft initially started our M365 cloud with regional data centers in North America, Europe, and in Asia Pacific. Since then, starting with Japan, we have grown to 16 geographies. And in the last 15 months, we have launched 5 new countries, becoming the first global cloud provider in Middle East and Africa. So I'm really proud of the investments and the expansions that we've had in almost every continent to make sure that we're providing our customers with the best experience that they need. As part of our commitment in expanding our cloud infrastructure, we are proud to announce that we will be investing in M365 local presence in Israel, Italy, Mexico, New Zealand, Poland, Qatar, and Spain in the coming months. In addition to these local data centers, we also have 3 sovereign geographies that uniquely address the needs of specific markets around data sovereignty. And those are one in the US government, another in China, and finally one in Germany. So collectively, we have about 27 geos that we have either we are already live in, or we have committed that we move into, and we're also considering additional locations in the future to expand our cloud footprint. In all of these markets, we have a commitment around customer data residency. And Microsoft provides in geography data residency, business continuity, and disaster recovery for our customer data. And customer data is stored in at least 2 data center locations to maintain reliability. And that's something that specific businesses and markets need, and we are trying to make sure that we satisfy our customer needs in these locations to make sure that the data is not only in the market, also in the case of HA and DR, it stays in the market. To look at what data we contractually committed into. If you look at Microsoft Online Services terms, you could clearly see that we are making contractual commitments to store customer data at rest within your geography. And more specifically, those are Exchange Online mail content, SharePoint Online site content, and files stored within the sites. And finally, files uploaded to OneDrive for Business. We have other services that store the data at rest into these services, and as such, they also be within the geography where your data is located. For most up-to-date information, I recommend looking at our Microsoft Online Services terms directly and referring to our public data center maps at office.com WAC data maps, which has information about all Office 365 and 365 services in markets that we are doing business in. Now take a look at what this experience looks like from existing customer point of view. So if you're an existing customer and you want to understand where your data is located, you could simply go to M365 Admin Center, navigate to Settings, and from within Settings, select Organization Profile, and you would see a data location card that shows specifically where we are storing the data for these specific services that you own. And for this example, as you can see, this customer sign-up country was in Europe, and as a result of it, they can see that their data is deployed and secured as at rest in Europe. Now we do this real time, so every time you go to this admin location, you're getting real time information about where your data is stored at rest, so that you could get the benefit of our data residency promise. Now, if you are an existing customer and you are currently in one of our regional data centers, for example, in our Europe region, once we have a local data center in your country, we will offer you an opt-in migration experience where we will move the data sets that you have in the regional data centers to your home country with seamless migration. And once that migration is done, you get notified that your data has transitioned from the regional data centers to the local data centers without you doing anything, and you get the full benefit of data residency from then onwards. If you want to read more about how the move programs for M365 works, you can refer to it on aka.ms-move and get additional details on what data types we move as part of this migration. From specific to data residency needs of our customers, so far we have had multiple ways of making this enabled. One approach historically had been to have on-premise servers. With the introduction of M365, we started offering hybrid scenarios where a customer can keep some of their users on-premise and others in our cloud. And ultimately, for the customers that want to come to our cloud with investments into multiple geographies, we have opened the door so that customers can have data residencies in the countries that they're signing up for. Now, the net new thing that we're introducing that Sesha will be talking about is an opportunity for a customer in a specific geography to have their main tenant to be in one market, but assign users into other geographies where we have a data center in. And with that, I'll turn this over to Sesha to explain our multi-geo capabilities.
Thank you, Sean. That was a great introduction into our data center planning and the commitments going forward. I'm going to cover on multi-geo in Microsoft 365. To start with, what is multi-geo? It is about extending your Microsoft 365 tenant across multiple geographic locations, be it a region or even a country. For example, as you can see in this picture, across Microsoft 365 resources such as Exchange mailboxes, OneDrive, and SharePoint sites, Microsoft 365 groups, not only in a one headquarters location, let's say in the US, but you can also have satellite locations like Europe and Asia Pacific, where the corresponding users' mailboxes and OneDrive can reside in. By adopting multi-geo, first of all, you are bringing in the culture of one organization. It's a single tenant, but it allows you to span across multiple geographic locations so that satellite users can actually get the modern productivity experience, much like your headquartered users. You get a granular data location control. And what we mean by that is, let's say Sesha is the user for US and Sean is a user for Europe. You can segment your users based on the corresponding location. And in the future, as you grow your business, we will be there for you. And based on the M365 data center expansion, multi-geo support will come to the same data location as well. So you get a much more granular data location and also set for your future as well. Second, not only your headquartered users, your satellite users also will get modern productivity. Everybody in your organization gets the same exact modern productivity. If you want to learn more, check out at aka.ms/multigeo. As you can see in this picture, Contoso organization has USA about 15,000 users, Europe about 5,000 users, and in Australia, another 5,000 users. USA is the central geo, whereas Europe and Australia are the satellite geos. But guess what? All these users are able to collaborate across each other. User from Australia can share a file from his OneDrive or a SharePoint site or send mails to their colleague over in USA and vice versa. So they get the exact same modern experience across the board. Now you may wonder, what are all the geos that are actually supported in the context of multi-geo setup? Let's take a look. Currently, we have over a dozen geos supported in the context of multi-geo deployment. Regions such as North America, European Union, and Asia Pacific, and also countries like Australia, Canada, France, and so on. And I can tell you one thing, this list only is going to grow. As we expand our Microsoft 365 data centers, we will bring multi-geo support for you for those data centers as well. In fact, we have few more upcoming geolocation support for Germany, Poland, and Norway as well. While talking about all the great benefits of multi-geo, I also want to mention what it is not for. Number one, performance. Multi-geo is not a silver bullet solution for a performance problem. Why? Because performance problems can have many sort of root causes. Let me give an example. In a SharePoint performance related issues, you want to understand, perhaps you have some custom web parts where it is retrieving data from another external data source. Whilst it is rendering in a SharePoint page, it takes time to load. For example, the root cause of that kind of situation is very different than is the data closer to the user's geolocation or not. So really, you want to understand the root cause of the performance problem and then apply the appropriate controls for solving the performance problem. If it turns out proximity is the problem, then multi-geo could help there. But it is not the silver bullet performance solution for you. It is meant for meeting what data residency needs, purely for compliance purposes. Second, giving the data to a specific data center. What I mean by that is, as Sean pointed out earlier, in every geo, we always have at least 2 data centers so that we can give you the redundancy requirement. What we guarantee in multi-geo is we keep the data at rest for the user's data, such as OneDrive, Exchange data, and so on. as well as shared resources like SharePoint sites and Microsoft 365 groups in a given geo, not specific to a data center. The third aspect is GDPR compliance. First of all, GDPR compliance does not require data residency. So those three aspects, performance, pinning data to the specific data center, and GDPR, multi-geo is not the silver bullet tool for you. And also, specific to performance, by the way, we have a new network performance insights center or insights capabilities in the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. And also, you can check out aka.ms/PNC for the Microsoft networking guidance as well. Now let's take a look at how to get started with multi-geo. It's super easy. First thing, you decide on what satellite geos you want for your organization. Today, as well as 3 or 5 years from now, enable Microsoft 365 multi-geo in your tenant. This is as simple as adding the Microsoft 365 multi-geo license to your tenant. Once you do that, we will light up the geolocations experience for you for the administrators. As a global administrator, you can go to the geolocations experience and add the needed satellite geos for your location. Don't worry if you forgot to add any specific satellite geos today. You can always go back to that experience and add additional geos for you. Lastly, how do you associate the user to a given satellite geo? We made it so easy, such that in on-premises Active Directory, you can even manage a property. It's called preferred data location. And then synchronize that to cloud. All the Microsoft 365 services will honor that property and ensure that users' data is provisioned in the appropriate geolocation. Let me actually show you a quick demo of this particular setup.
Here I am in the SharePoint Admin Center, logged in as Sesha Mani, the global administrator for this organization. I am in the Advanced tab under Geolocations Information panel. As you can see, this organization has North America as central location, and also it has Europe, Asia Pacific, Australia, Japan, and Switzerland as its satellite geolocations. Now I like to add an additional geolocation, so let's click Add Location. I see their choices are India, Canada, United Kingdom, Korea, France, United Arab Emirates, and South Africa. As the Microsoft 365 data center footprint increases, this list will grow as well. For this demo purposes, I'm going to select United Kingdom and click Next. Next step is to select a domain for United Kingdom satellite geo. And I'm going to select Contoso Bank Corp GBR, which is the acronym for United Kingdom, as the URL. SharePoint sites will be provisioned under contosobankcorpgbr.sharepoint.com, and OneDrive will be at -my.sharepoint.com URLs. And then all I have to do is click Add, and that will kick off the provisioning of this satellite location. Now the question is, how do I associate users to these satellite locations? For that, I hop over to the Microsoft 365 Admin Center Active Users list, and let's pick a satellite user and see the properties for that user. Let's pick Jason Lee, and let's look at the properties for these users. And as you can see, there are typical properties like username, email, and so on. And the property of interest for us is this particular one, preferred data location. Let me zoom in for you. As you can see, this property is set to JPN. JPN is a 3-letter acronym for Japan location. And that means Jason's OneDrive and mailbox will be provisioned in the Japan satellite location. And if I want the user mailbox and OneDrive in the United Kingdom, I have to set this to GBR. If I want it in North America, NAM. For Europe, it is EUR, and so on. You get the idea. You can use Azure Active Directory PowerShell, or from on-premises Active Directory, you can synchronize this property using Azure Active Directory Connect tool to the Azure Active Directory itself. and then the property will be honored across all Microsoft 365 resources. Now, the question is, how does the distribution of these users look like across all the geos in the organization? And for that, let's hop over to the Usage tab in Microsoft 365 Admin Center. So here I am in the Usage tab, and let's scroll down, and there's actually a new card called User Count by Geo. This card shows you at the high level the distribution of users across all the geos in your organization, across Australia, Europe, France, North America, and so on. And in fact, you can actually click on this card and it will show you the trend for the last 6 to 7 months in the multi-geo organization for the user distribution across all the geos as well. How cool is that?
So that was a quick demo of enabling multi-geo in your tenant, adding satellite geos to your tenant, and then associating users to corresponding satellite geos as well. Hope you liked it. Also, if you're interested to learn more and see how easy it is to administer a multi-geo tenant end-to-end, please check out our other skilling video at aka.ms/sc3024. Now let me recap what we shared with you in this session. Sean talked about our data center global infrastructure, our local presence across multiple countries, as well as the data residency commitments that we have from our service. Then we also covered how to get set up with multi-geo. What is multi-geo, why multi-geo, and how easy it is to get multi-geo set up for your organization. With that, on behalf of the Microsoft Data Center team, we wanted to thank you for your time today watching this video session. We hope that you find this session informative and insightful. Until we see you again next time, hopefully in person, this is Seisha and Sean signing off. Take care and thanks for watching.